at any point from the future, people will look back, and you can always suggest that anacyclosis has a role to play. Now that's a way of looking at the evolution of civilization by Polybius, who was a Greek historian and thinker thousands of years ago. He said that you've got a turning wheel, a rotation, a revolution. You start with a good king who appears out of chaos and creates peace, like a kind of King Arthur, who creates a Camelot and everything's great. But then his son didn't have to fight for Camelot, so he's not as he doesn't care as much. And then his son is even worse, and around him grows powerful men, aristocrats. They eventually overthrow a weak prince, and you've got aristocracy rather than monarchy. The first band of aristocrats are all right as well. They've got ideas. That degenerates as well. They pass the power to their sons and daughters, and eventually it degenerates into oligarchy, which is the rule of rich men who are only in power because they're wealthy.
That's where we are.
Eventually the people get tired of the oligarchs and they overthrow them. And that means you've got democracy. You've got people power. And the first democracy is good because people had to fight for it and struggle and achieve it and overthrow the oligarchs. But again, a few generations down, it degenerates and you've got people taking democracy for granted, which is where we are now. And that degenerates into mob rule. And we all know about mob rule. We see it in third world countries and all the rest of it. It's chaos. Out of the mob rule rises a demagogue, a charismatic figure who says, "Follow me and I'll take you to the sunlit uplands again." And the demagogue is false. He's a straw man. He's hollow. The demagogue is eventually overthrown by the good king. And where are we now? Then you're back at midnight again. You're back at the top of the clock, and then the whole process starts again. In answer to your question, I think we're at that point now where people are taking it all for granted. It's the democracy that people have become bored with. They think that you just have peace on the streets, law and order, equality before the law, safety to walk the streets at night. All of this magic. You turn up at a bus stop and a bus comes. You go to an ATM and you put your card in and money comes out.
Right.
People think that these things just happen. But we've now entered into the period where too large a proportion of the population are taking all of that for granted, and they think anything would be better than this. And the problem we've got is that there are people out there like the WEF, like the WHO, the World Health Organization, like all these transnational corporations, like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, who are more than happy to step in and offer people that something else. But what the people don't appreciate is that something else is going to end up being something they really don't like.